Hi, it's Michael once again, and this week for class I have chosen to look at capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is very important for our firm. When a firm creates a capital budget, it is shown its investors what projects and investment it plans to take under its wings during its next investment period. By creating this document, an investor is able to see if it agrees with its firm's investments and whether to keep investing in a firm or to remove their investments from that firm and switch to a different firm. To dive into the capital budgeting process, we can look at the ways that a firm classifies its investments during this process. The first part is initial outlay. For example, purchases of equipment. When a firm purchases equipment, this is an initial outlay of funds. The ongoing cash flow is the next part of the process. For example, when a firm has to purchase new raw materials, they have to consider this part of the budget as an ongoing cash flow. And then the final part of the process, when capital budgeting, is to consider terminalization of the process that the firm is currently in. So if a firm is making one product and wants to switch to another, they have to consider the terminal cost of shutdown of one plant and then opening a new plant for the new product. When we take this application to the real world, we can look at it an entry-level professional. When we look at entry-level professional, we can look at a firm using the competitive market concept. When a firm looks at its retailers, it has to consider that each retailer is going to sell this product for the same price, and therefore the return on investment is going to be the markup that they charge to their retailer. When a retailer looks at a product, they have to consider their return on investment also and how they mark the product up. So a suggested retail price is one way that a firm is able to gain an advantage in the competitive market by seeing that their product is sold for the same price at every retailer. When we take a look at the mid-level professionals' responsibilities in the capital budgeting process, we can consider the cost of increased materials. While when a mid-level professional has to then look at obtaining the materials at the new cost, they must then consider decreasing costs somewhere else to help maintain their budget. By decreasing cost in a different aspect of the process, they are able to maintain their projections throughout the capital budgeting process. When we look at the executive level of capital budgeting, we must consider what this is meant to a firm. While if a firm is constantly having to pay higher prices for raw materials, at the mid-level, an executive might have to make the decision on whether retooling a plant can save money in the long run. For example, over the last decade, Mattel has used this process in their mainline Hot Wheels by reducing the amount of parts in each toy. By reducing the amount of parts in each toy, they've sped up the process of making toys with less parts, and also using less raw materials. By using less raw materials, the executive level was able to see that retooling was an acceptable cost in the capital budgeting process. When we look at the ethics behind capital investment, we must consider not just making one investment each year during the capital budgeting process. When we look at Ecclesiastes 11:1-2, we can see that if we cast our money into multiple investments, we shall increase our investments on the earth. If we only put our money into one investment, we can risk great losses. If a firm puts all its money into one investment, it is not successful using the capital budgeting process. For example, each year, Mattel releases multiple new lines of toys. When Mattel makes decisions on releasing new toys, they look at their past toy styles, but choose to use multiple toys because they know not each one will succeed. So by making not just one investment on new toys, but multiple toys, Mattel is able to succeed and gain capital through the lines that do.